What's up, my dudes? JLV, dog. Oh my God. It's like Jesus Christ himself came down out of the skies and said, you know what? I'm going to fix MX Simulator today. Front end lock, boys. So, snapshot. If you don't know what a snapshot is, basically it's like a mini update, like a patch, right? And the way you get that is you go on the forums, go on general, and you're going to see a snapshot. Should be the very top one. You're going to go on there and you're going to download it versus like just a full-blown update on MX Simulator, which usually comes out like once or twice a year. Some people kind of get confused on what a snapshot is, right? Basically just a patch. That's all it is, right? So JOV just recently came out with a new patch for this game, and a snapshot patch. I don't know why they call it a snapshot. Good God, just call it a patch. Like, quit confusing people. Like, Jesus Christ. But either way, what it actually says on it, right? The snapshot patch notes, right? Basically, it says stabilizer now recovers 33% quicker after front wheel contact. I don't think that could be any more perfect for the whole front end lock issue than that. Like, that is absolutely teetotally perfect. So that's 1/3 right there, right? 1/3 quicker stabilization after you have front wheel contact, which is pretty much the whole issue with front end lock in MX Simulator, because like you run into somebody, or it used to be like you'd run into somebody's back wheel with your front wheel, and basically it would just drag your front end down and you would get locked into this, almost like locked into an animation of it just pulling your front end down, and you would wreck and you wouldn't even be able to control it. You wouldn't even be able to attempt to try to save your front end like that, and it was super annoying in this game. So 33%, it recovers 33%. So it basically stabilizes itself 33% faster now than what it did, which is massive. I mean, that's massive if you really think about it. Like with MX Simulator, I mean, whoa, dude. Like, that is, if I cannot believe he chose to do 33%, even though that's exactly what I wanted him to do. I can't believe, I would have thought he would have like done like maybe 10% quicker stabilization, and then like 2 or 3 years later he would have done another 10%, but bam, he came out and did a 33% more stabilization. Shout out to you, JLV. You obviously know what the hell's going on. I think we may be a little late on this one, but either way, it's still pretty badass to see. Let me just jump plumb over the damn track. I'm on this old school Budds Creek shit here with some, I had to get on one of the, sorry guys, if any of you guys wonder why the hell I'm on Budds Creek 1995, basically the reason why I'm doing this is to try to get to where I've actually have some actual robot AI riders on here, and they can actually have the pathing, because if you get on some of those newer tracks, the AI can't even ride on it. So that's why I'm on one of these super old school stock tracks in this game, just to get some AI on here. We're going to try to actually test this new front end lock thing out right here. That's why I'm on this. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm only going to be looking at the front end lock part of this snapshot in this video. I know they added some big erode things in this snapshot, so we may go check that out in a separate video, but this video is dedicated strictly to seeing how this new front end lock cure is going to actually play out and how it actually feels, right? So I'm going to try to purposely run my front end into the back of some of these dudes. We'll see what it does stabilization wise, but what this means for the game is so massive, because now you're not going to have to build your setup so much around being stable to try to not fall whenever you do run into somebody. It's like you almost had to work around the front end lock bug beforehand, right? Like, you'd almost have to try to set up your bike in a way to where it would have more stabilization than you really wanted, but you needed it just so you didn't fall down when you had front end lock moments. But now I think it's going to open up the doors way more to different kind of setup stuff you can run, because it just in general, the stabilization is 33% quicker, so you actually have more of a chance of saving yourself whenever you do get in those front end lock incidences or bar banging. This is going to help in so many different ways, because when you're bar banging, you're basically hitting somebody with your front end, so it applies to that as well. It doesn't just apply to running your front end into somebody's caboose, you know what I'm saying? It actually applies to when you both run into some, like, you know how on MX Simulator where 99% of the time in a pro race, somebody is going to wreck in that first corner, you know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of times it's 10 or 15 people wrecking that first corner, right? So I think this is probably going to help a lot with that as well, just because you're not going to have where you just barely kiss somebody when you're kind of bar banging a little bit going to that first corner, and then it just drags your front end down. You can't do anything about it, right? This was such a massive issue. Good God, I can't even explain how much it killed the realism and the collision, the racing vibe to this game. It was just terrible on it. But let me see if I can get up to this guy right here. We'll try to test it out a little bit. But, okay, let's see. Okay, that was kind of a shitty example. I gave a little bit more of a decent example a while ago. I actually kind of did it a while ago. I ran into that one dude's back end really slow, and I was able to actually recover. So let's see. Okay, let's see if we can get on 43 here. And obviously this doesn't mean that you're just going to be able to, it's still going to be where it causes you to wreck when you should wreck, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be freaking MX versus ATV Alive bump and grind for 35 years and nobody ever falls down. It's not like it's going to do that to the game. It's just going to make it to where it just doesn't have those really bizarre moments where you barely nick somebody, right, and your front end gets to kind of twisting like this, and you think in your head, if this was happening in real life, I could save this. I could muscle this bike around and save this from falling down. But how MX Simulator used to be before the snapshot, it would just do that little, like where you're kind of doing this number, left, right, and then you just fall down, after 2 or 3 seconds of doing that. So that's what made it so annoying, is you just felt like it wasn't even realistic in that sense. Oh, dude, I just felt it right there. You see me kind of rub up the side of that dude, and it kind of did a little bit of front end lock, but I could hold it together right there. Let me try to test it out here, boys, okay? So it's not affecting your ass end at all. You understand what I'm saying? It's not affecting that at all. So it's not affecting when you slide into somebody with your rear, which that's not even front end lock anyways, you know what I'm saying? So it's only really affecting your front end steering, that whole stability thing with MX Simulator, where it's very, very touchy steering, right? Especially if you have a low stability. And that's always how I've kind of played this game, is with more of a lower stability style, because I like to be able to turn sharp in the corners and turn sharp over jump faces and do all that kind of stuff. And this is gonna help me out massively when it comes to racing. Whereas some people, they kind of ride this game with a more stable feeling on the bike, and this wouldn't be as big of a change to them, but it's going to be a literally night and day difference change to me, because I'm just used to, don't even remotely touch your front end to anything, or you're just asking to fall down. That's how I pretty much came to know and understand MX Simulator with my current sort of setup. You know what I'm saying? Oh, dude, you could actually fucking hit people. Look at this. Oh my God, you could not have collision like that before this snapshot. No way, dude. Collision is fucking fixed in MX Simulator. I did not think I would ever be able to say this. This is massive for the game right here, JLV. And it's funny because JLV, the way he put it in the snapshot, he acted like it was so simple, just 33% more, quicker recovery on the stabilization. With your front end, like it was no big deal, I didn't think it was that simple, but okay, we'll run with it either way. It's just the way he put it, I don't know. It just very, very simple patch note style vibe there. But you got to understand, if you know MX Simulator, it's massive. It's massive for the game in every way. It may be a little hard for me to really show multiple examples of it, but you're going to see it massively in the pro racing, like in the first corner. You're going to see it just massively randomly online racing when you have any sort of collision, running into somebody, anything like any of that. That's really going to change. And see it like that right there? I should have went down right there. You understand what I'm saying? That's a moment where you run into somebody so hard with your front end, you should go down. But those moments where you're kind of both going somewhat slow speed, nobody really T-bones anybody, odds are, at least 8 times out of 10, you shouldn't really go down. There's got to be some bar banging. It's that balance between enough bar banging potential, but not too much, right? So, it's kind of like, like the difference between reflex and alive. You know how reflex, if you get to bar banging like crazy, somebody's going to fall down. But in alive or a lot of those milestone games, you can literally just run into somebody. There's no concern of anybody actually falling down when you run into each other. I don't like that. I don't like motocross games where there's no risk to falling off of the bike or anything. There's got to be some of that, right? But it's all in that nature of you don't want it to be too much to where you feel like you don't even ever want to have any contact because you're scared you're just going to instantly fall down, like how MX Simulator was before the snapshot. You don't want it to that extent, but it still should make you fall. I mean, and this still is a simulator, so it's just gonna happen when in certain occasions. It's just gonna help in certain occasions, but you're still gonna fall down just like normal. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying. It's not like it's going to be like, oh, now you can just bar bang and rub each other forever now. Oh, I got to love how dirty some of this shit sounds. Just rubbing up on that dude. Oh, God, bro. You got to love how, like, trying to explain collision and, like, what it sounds like. Good God, dude. But it's just going to help when you're, like, both right side by side each other, bar banging, going into a first corner, slow bar banging, when you just barely nick somebody's caboose with your front end. You gotta love the language. You know what I'm saying? So when you run your front end into their caboose, and you know what I'm saying, boys. So yeah, but like I say, gonna be a little bit hard to show real examples, but you can just see by what it says in the actual Snapchat, good God, snapshot. Add me up on Snapchat, boys. Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. No space, no capital. You know what it is, boys. Oh, my God. Yeah, so in the actual patch notes of the snapshot, it pretty much explaining what it is, and if you know MX Simulator, I don't even have to really show it to you. You know how it's going to be. You know how much better that's going to improve that. So it's not really that it's making it any less of like actually how what's going to cause your front end to go down. It's not like it's that making that any less. It's more so just the quickness of getting your stable feeling back after you do run into somebody. It's quicker now. So, but it's not actually changing what force is going to make you fall down or not. You understand what I'm saying? It's only really affecting your actual front end lock and being stuck in a front end lock animation and not being able to save it, right? That's the only thing that's really helping or really changing. It's not really affecting like, oh, Joe Blow can run into me 50 miles an hour fast now and nothing's going to happen versus where he couldn't do that beforehand. It's not really like that. You kind of got to understand the specifics of it and the specifics of the wording, and you have to understand MX Simulator to really get that shit. But that's kind of how it is, you know what I'm saying? So either way, shout out to JLV. A lot of cool things in that snapshot. Really, really think this is going to be a game changer, and I think it probably could still use some improvements. It's not like, this is the end-all, be-all, but I certainly do think it's massive. I mean, massive for that really bizarre feeling you used to get in this game, man, where it's like just unbelievable. Somebody barely even touch you. I mean, I had an instance of it just here recently in one of the pro motocross races. A dude came around me. He passed me through a straightaway, and I'm talking, it was the lightest you could ever collide with somebody in this game. The lightest. Like, it didn't, when I look back on it on the replay, it didn't even look like he actually hit me. He was so like that on the edge of hitting me and not hitting me that it didn't even look like he hit me. But obviously he did, because you could see as soon as he came by me, you could see my front end just doing this whole number right here, right? And then I just fell down like that. Like a little gust of wind kind of blew me down, you know what I'm saying? But you're not going to have that kind of crap happen anymore. You're not going to have that barely run into somebody and then can't control your bike, can't get stable, and then just fall down. That's not gonna happen like that anymore. Now you're still gonna have to be careful. It's still a simulator. It's not like you can just, just sit there and collide, rub bars all day long and not expect anything to happen. I mean, shit's still gonna happen, right? But because even in real life, like a lot of times people are gonna go down when you run into somebody pretty hard or get both your front ends running into each other and stuff like that. But there's got to be some level of occasions where nobody goes down. You know what I mean? You're just you're kind of rubbing bars, but you're not taking people out, right? There's got to be that kind of middle ground there. And MX Simulator didn't really have that before, but now it does. So this is just going to be something I'm going to have to test out long periods of time of racing over time and doing all that. But you can probably already see the difference if you've watched like the most recent pro race live stream or whatever, or this next pro race live stream or whatnot. If you watch it, you'll probably see way less crashes in the first corner, way more battling going on, which this game desperately needed. So that's really cool to see all that. But either way, I just wanted to come here and check this out real quick. Hope I showed at least some okay examples. I know they're kind of, some of them are a little bit weird. I think it's going to be more of a deal where, see, you still have your same old stability, right? So you can't just expect to run into somebody and then just all of a sudden you've got like 100 stability and you're not going to wreck. Like, you still have your own bike's stability, right? It didn't really change that. It's just more of a, when you run into somebody, it's not going to just drag your ass down instantaneously anymore. You know what I mean? You're going to have just that little bit more chance of actually saving it, but it's not really changing stability. I know how some people could get in here and kind of get it in their head like, oh, now when I run into somebody, I can just jack my front end all the way to the side and I'm not going to fall down. No, you still have your same old stability, right? Like, none of that's really changed. It's just more of a not having such janky moments when you barely touch somebody, such janky moments when you both come into a corner, you're both side by side, barely touching each other. Like, you're not going to go down 1/3 as much, 1/3 as much as you used to, 33%. So do the math on that shit, boys. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the difference, and that's quite a bit. I mean, that's certainly going to make a difference in a lot of different occasions. So be really cool to really get in here and test that out. See if I can get. See, like that right there, say I kind of bumped me just a little bit, didn't go down at all. It's just going to make the collision just better overall, I feel like. But like, it can, see, like that right there, typically I think that would have sent me plumb to the ground to where it caused me to dismount. But you saw I just kind of like laid it over. I didn't really fully dismount. So I think you're going to have a lot more occasions where you don't fully dismount. It doesn't actually like drag you to the ground all the way down to the ground to where you pop off the bike. But if you know MX Simulator, you know what front end lock is. Like, you know what it is, you know. It literally does feel like, it used to feel like a bug in the game. It literally used to feel like some random thing just grabs your stability, grabs your front end, and just completely takes the control away from you, which it shouldn't really do that. It should either make you crash. There's a fine line, because obviously you have some occasions where you kind of run into somebody and you have like a wobble effect, you know, and then you might go down, might not go down. I get it, but it was too insane beforehand. It was just too much, man. Like, it was ridiculous, because you'd run into somebody, you'd get the wobbles, right, and you would think, okay, if I could actually control my bike, I could save this, but it won't even let me control my fucking bike. It's just going to drag me down, you know. So this 33% quicker recovery on the stabilization is going to be massive for it. But either way, shout out to you, JLV. Keep on doing good things, man. It's cool to see you keeping supporting this thing. She's a monster. She's massive. This game is insanity, potential big. I don't even think it's hit its stride yet. I don't even think it's hit its maximum potential yet. I think it's only up from here, you know what I'm saying? Until it hits that big mainstream push, that big stage. This is the game and a half when it comes to all that kind of vibe. No doubt about it. It's just a matter of time, boys. Just a matter of time. So, and big improvements like this is really helping its case. You know what I'm saying? Really, really helping being able to have more fun collision moments and fun racing moments and cool bar banging moments and stuff like that, but not doing it to the level of like turning it into a live to where it's like, oh, hey, you're never going to fall down again. Like, either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.